Hey there, River here for our weekly walkthrough. And here in this weekly walkthrough, it's sort of like a sexless orgy. It's like a mix between a safety meeting, a first date, a spelling bee, an artist walk through a tour debriefing, tour of duty debriefing, and about how to sustain life and that subtle energy work required. And we are so grateful that you are here walking with us for a spell. And of course, if you need to tag out, take care of yourself. You know how to do that most effectively. And we are not doctors, lawyers, therapists. We are a fortune teller. So what we share is no substitute for their services. Furthermore, what we offer does not determine your future, only your intentions and actions do. So please use your gifts of discernment before deciding what to gather and take away. And of course, take only what resonates and blow like a kiss the rest back to the universe for cosmic composting into beauty. And this is for fun and games, for shits and giggles, for entertainment, for flexing our heart, body, mind, soul, spirit, emotions, and intuition. And at the least, I hope to cause harm to none. And at the most, I hope I may assist you on your healing path. All that said, yeah, it's just a weekly walkthrough. It's like an open house to see if this channel is for you, if our services and products are for you as you move forward, dancing away from the emergency states and into adoption spirit magic, however you call that. You can see one of our first shorts featured on this channel to understand more about how that looks for you, that adoption spirit magic that we are immersed in here in this channel as we have danced away from the emergency states. And if we trip and fall back into them, we keep dancing back to and immersing into this adoption spirit magic. It's important to share also apologies up front, because as I am out of the fog, most everywhere I go, I dance back into the fog, and I may trip and fall and drag you down with me, and I don't mean to do that. And I know that doesn't take away from damage done. And so I ask you to steer clear of the danger. Don't trip when I fall, right? Quadruple check everything. We are all different psychosocial science experiments, and what works for you may be different than me. And just know I'm just someone else on the trail that may assist you, and you may resonate more with someone else. And that's got to be all right, especially in democracies. Those of us blessed to reside in democracies and have a say in the matter. I also want to share that much gratitude that you are here with me, and also for all of the Romanistan community around the world, and all of the adoptee artist activists around the world for helping create this safe sound space and allowing us to do this work, and all the different ways that plays out. We are so grateful. And so yeah, working with us, we'll just go through things you may want to know before you step into our room. And we work virtually for the most part, and we have very different hours up throughout the night, during the day. It just depends. Different entities, energies, folks calling on us psychically, physically for assistance. And so that looks very different than your typical 9 to 5. And if you see that some of our schedule activities shift, it's due to the wild nature of tending to self and family, is another way to sum that up. And we are recently shifting tracks, diving deeper into the adoption spirit magic. And so that looks like not following anyone, allowing you your space. And if you need, you may come to us and ask us for assistance. So you may check in here anonymously. Nobody has to know, anonymously, unless you choose to share. Because we see that it's so imperative to assist anyone moving forward on their healing path to be able to maintain their equity and dignity and privacy. And so you may learn more about that at our Instagram account. And on this, what day is it? 20th of September. And learn more about that. And you may enjoy coming to this channel to check in with us at times that you want to re-immerse into adoption spirit magic. Perhaps you've tripped and fallen into the emergency states, that fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn, our authoritative amygdala in each of our heads, all of us humans. You may choose to come to this channel when you want to immerse back into that adoption spirit magic, out of those emergency states, dancing away from those emergency states to help you revamp, reassess, reprotect, just check in, and in a way that feels safe for you. And I first began dancing out of the fog in 2009 and couldn't even say it. And I think maybe in 2005 or 2009, a brilliant creative friend suggested or offered, when are you coming out of the fog? And my response was something like, I am so offended. And by 2017 to 2019, I was out of the fog. And so maybe we here at Which to Take can assist you moving through that, out of that fog more quickly with less collateral damage to yourself and others, helping you reestablish your new voice and honoring how that keeps shifting and how to keep flipping that guilt and shame card that we are all dealt with each loss. One of the 7 cards, we are all dealt with each loss as we live here on earth. And in 2021, May 14th, that's when I immersed into adoption spirit magic. 2009, I began dancing away. I couldn't even say. And by 2021, May 14th, I'm like, I'm immersing into adoption spirit magic. I'll be over here. And so I've been working out how to share that in a kind way without offending. And of course, I've tripped and fallen. Please forgive me. And I began playing my cards in 2000. I thought, wow, if flashcards can help me learn my teaching skills and how to learn languages or math facts, they can help me make my dreams come true and help me live artfully every single day. I was so frustrated because I couldn't get to my art due to the rigors of teaching. So in 2000, I began playing my cards. And what that looked like in 2000 was I committed to each day on a 3x5 card, drawing up one piece of art. Sometimes that looked like a grocery list, a note for the doctor, a squiggle, a doodle. Other times it was watercolor pencils and more detailed. Sometimes it was affirmations. You get the idea. It just shifted for the whole year. And so my deck was born in 2000. And one of those cards said, I am an artist, because that was something I really enjoyed doing, wanted to do, but couldn't seem to get in a routine of doing due to the rigors of teaching. And also I'm learning now more due to the rigors of coming out of the fog of the adoption fairy tales and the gypsy myths, the matriarchy, the patriarchy. And fast forward to 2012, I was invited to the first female Gypsy Romani art culture history exhibit in the United States of America, hosted by the Voice of Roma and the Petaluma Historical Museum at the Petaluma Historical Museum in the refurbished First Free Public Library of California, and that was thrilling on so many levels. We were able to raise awareness. We earned April as Roma Month, the Voice of Roma. I was just an artist participant, helping in that way, sharing my art and story, my heart art. Here's my uncensored heart on my chest. And we also, the Voice of Roma and the Petaluma Historical Museum and the participants were able to help earn that Roma Crossing Borders exhibit in 2012 congressional recognition. And so beyond belief, wild dreams coming true, playing my cards. And so I enjoy sharing my cards with you. And that's what this channel is about, to help you keep playing your cards for the life you need as you and life keep changing. And what I imagined might be here in the USA raised that we were adopted for the best, and it wasn't there. There wasn't this thread that helped all of our families maintain their safety, and their students, children, through elders, maintain their safety in a way that honored everybody's dignity and equity. And so this honors that, that my birth family, my maternal birth family, was in a position in a country with a relatively recent past of barring Romani births, where my grandfather on my maternal side, my Finnish side, felt that the wisest thing to do would be disown his youngest daughter, who was then pregnant with me, and she was in a position where she left me on a Cold War border in a home for unwed mothers. And well, especially with what's come out in the recent past in the USA with border babies, we know more what happens to those children and how they are violated emotionally, through physically, sexually even. And I know they didn't mean to do that. They thought they were doing the best, right? And not the people who perhaps took their grief out on me, mistreating me in those different ways, but also my maternal birth grandfather. And to how that similar dynamic played out in my adoptive families and in-law families and communities, where there's this notion that, well, this is for the best and you need to just do what I say because I'm the XYZ in charge and I said so. And now we're seeing more and more, oops, that's authoritarianism. That's how come perhaps the democracies are failing youth through elder, is because of that that disconnect. And so again, these offerings are to help in those instances and help stream in grace to replace. Let go of that old way. It's not working. It hasn't been working. And stream in a new way to replace that perhaps you can adjust to fit on your own. And so much has happened since I began doing this work, and since I started playing my cards in 2000, from being invited to that exhibit in 2011 and then it playing out in 2012 between International Women's Day and International Roma Day, becoming a certified minister online so I could minister to myself and own that, and just really start to dance away from my authoritative amygdala and everyone else's, grief struck by loss, to suicide attempts grief struck by loss, mistaken and mistreated as all these different things that perhaps you've heard me speak to 2015 family emergency, that respecting the family and the emergency, I leave it at that. But it was so much that our whole way of life changed, moving 5 times since 2015 to 2019, 2020, 2015. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 times between 2015 and 2020. And also coming more out of the fog and trying to communicate, hey, I get it, I get you're hurting and you didn't mean to do it, but it really hurts and I can't take it. And there's other ways to manage our loss than to scapegoat our people or whip the dog, kick the dog, whip the post. And I'm trying to do that. And I would love you to join me, and that not working out so wonderfully. Right? So that's part of the dismantling that perhaps you have been hearing about on so many different levels, dismantling the adoption fairy tales, dismantling the gypsy myths, dismantling the matriarchy, the patriarchy, the grief struck by loss amygdala. You fill in the blank. There's so many different ways to say sort of the same thing. And then rebuilding a kinder, more peaceful, joyful new earth that is based in love and light, instead of that amygdala cycling fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fun. And by 2020 October, stepping into my destiny and heritage to fortune tell and helping you do the same. So thrilling. The silver lining of this devastating losses to get to that point, but to see a solution. So thrilling to be able to share that with you. So thrilling. And May 2021, immersing deeper into adoption spirit magic, really making it official, speaking it out to family and friends in different ways. Of course, not so elegantly at first, and perhaps violently, mirroring the madness and needing to apologize for that, which is so devastating that there was another suicide attempt, 2020 to 2021, over that New Year's. So 2021, May, immersing into adoption spirit magic more officially. And then, oh my God, and accepting that, taking responsibility for that loss. God bless it, pardon me. I'm still working on my throat chakra. Ending up in the emergency room. There's a couple of visits, 2018 in the summer, and then March for 4 days, getting shuttled out of our town into Boston for 4 days, and major surgery on my head, having an infection drained here, somewhere on my throat, a tube coming out of my mouth. And then in May, having a molar removed, and coming out of that and launching my business, launching which to take, and finding the silver linings. And as I was healing all of those injuries, which took time, I mean, healing my mind, body, heart, and soul, and then also having all of those medical bills reconcile, just ended up, those bills just ended up reconciling, thank God, this summer, 2023. So over a year later. And so here we are, and helping you, and into 2023, doing this shift and offering workshops to help you play your cards, Perhaps we share with you virtually you and your family, or you and your friends, or you and your workplace, or you and your government, or you and your school system. You get the idea. And we have blogs tracking our journey that you can check into, seeing how we've played our cards, for samples, to honor the fact your anonymity is so important in you moving and developing in a way that really suits you. And so those are there for you to access. We also have online courses. Those may be shifting soon as we are transitioning into this next school year. Also distance Reiki and crystal energy healing, because so often that loss blocks us from doing much else. And so that Reiki is there for those times we don't even know what to say. And then an annual folk art affair. So fun. And through all of these things, we hope to offer you some triage to help you free your will from loss, to help you stop cycling those emergency states, that fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn, as if it's corrected for the best, and to help you transition from those times where sacrifice is turned into guilt trip. We didn't mean to do it, and it steals the will of our people and asks them to like it. We didn't mean to do that. And we don't want to restrict you. We want to help you be free to choose to do what you want to do, and understanding how often loss steals our free will from doing that. And so we're here to help you untangle that, to help you free your will up from loss, so you can learn what you want to learn, lead how you want to lead, love how you want to love, live how you want to live, and honoring, the humanity in us, that takes time and space. We're human, and we're sort of dense, and so that takes time and space, and how to keep playing through that, even when oh my God, really? This long? 40 years, 40 lifetimes? I don't know. I mean, really, we're building capacity for tolerance inside out, and helping create a safe home space for you, for us, individually and then socially. This is about your home space, and then also homeland security and universal security. And our offerings, we hope, help secure that space for us, that safe, sound space, so we can keep playing through and without killing ourselves or anyone else. And it's so personal for me. People around me have taken their lives. People around me want to end their lives. I myself have been in that position. Adoptees are 4 times more likely. Romani, Gypsy, 7 times more likely for being mistaken and mistreated as things like asshole, addict, bipolar, bitch, criminal, dumb, evil. Sort of like during the Holocaust, when Romani were seen as incurably mentally ill, like all of those things I just mentioned were incurably mentally ill, is another way to look at it. And it's almost like this Holocaust is still playing on in this way of people being mistaken as all these different things, like they were during that Holocaust time, where Romani were deemed incurably mentally ill, and therefore, the ideal people to use as a test run for the final solution. And you can read, pardon me, you can read more about that in Ian Hancock's book, We Are the Romani People. Because I offer that because I myself, that history was lacking in our life in K-12 standards in the USA. Growing up, all that was found in our books were Gypsy with a lowercase g, and perhaps you are in a parallel position, so I offer Ian Hancock's book so you can understand more of that history, what I just shared. See it with your own eyes. And it's a thin book, but it's thick reading. It really may take some time to digest for the sensitive topics. So you may allow yourself this year to cover that in your personal professional development plan. Your cards is another way. Like maybe just add that into your deck of cards. Like this year I'm going to read Ian Hancock's book, We Are the Romani People. He has many. And understand how the connections of the gypsy and the adoptee and the orphan, and making sure we don't leave anyone behind, and how those all come together. And perhaps Ian's book helps you pull some of those together, some of those ideas together, or just shares more of the Romani history that was lacking in your school or in your communities, or maybe still. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes. Thank you for being so patient with me and my glasses and my reflection. So, yes, we are hoping that our offerings here help create that safe space for you wherever you may stand, within your home, within your community, within your nation, within the galaxy. And I can't read my notes. Yeah, so this channel may assist if you are ready, willing to step away from those adoption fairy tales, from the gypsy myths, like the adoption fairy tales, this Tell the Truth game show in the 50s featuring Dorothy DeBow, and she adopted, I don't know, I think like over 20 children from all over the world, handicapped, and she just all of the adoption fairy tales within that show. I'm not going to get into too much detail. We have 3 minutes left here in our session, but I may allow you to enjoy checking out that artifact to understand more about the adoption fairy tale, and how families like my own who fell for that have been devastated and left in this position where it's been devastating. and I'm hesitating because I'm laughing because 2 minutes. So put a pin in that. We'll come back to it. Or you may check into other areas of this channel or other areas of my offering and understand more about that. Or you may, you can check in my linked tree on the About page and check out other artist, adoptee activists, and Romani activists to understand more of what I'm talking about there. And perhaps this channel offers more about the art of apology, like what sets me apart from that fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn, or the adoption spirit magic. What sets it apart from the emergency states is the apologizing. Shit, we didn't mean to do that. God bless it. We're going to figure out a way to reform, to fix that, to improve, and to stop stepping on your toe, whatever that looks like. You're telling me it hurts, so I gotta believe you, and I can't tell you anymore. That doesn't hurt. We understand more. I can't say anymore because I'm the boss and I said so. We understand more that that's dictatorship and not democracy. And so if you are in that position where you are ready to take on those duties, being able to apologize daily for the times you trip and fall, and to offer that reform, and of course in certain cases like dancing away from the adoption fairy tales I'm apologizing for tripping, falling, mirroring the madness, but I can't reform and stay with those adoption fairy tales. That keeps me cycling the violence. We've seen that play out over 4 decades. What part of what gave me the courage to dance away finally, on top of different people like students throughout the years in the private and public education systems, and different family members and friends and teachers and healers. And so if you're in that position and you're ready to take on apologizing daily, constantly, maybe it's quarterly, checking in on what's working, what's not, what can you do to serve your people more effectively, instead of saying like, I ain't got time for that. You're the one who needs to go to therapy, right? To start switching the lines from the emergency states to the adoption spirit. And you're ready to give up the line because I'm the boss and I said so, or I'm the babysitter in charge and I said so, or because I'm the mom in charge and I said so. You're ready to give up that. You're ready to give up using naming your dog Gypsy like in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And you're ready to take responsibility for the times you're scapegoating, lashing out, your grief, whipping the post, kicking the dog. And you're ready to take responsibility for that, and on a daily basis, because like, wow, the loss pile up, right? We've seen, especially over the past couple years, it's tremendous. And so to be able to have the wisdom, grace, and ease to be able to trip and fall and apologize, and to keep reforming yourself in those situations, or to, get out of the way when, no, you're not meant to reform into that adoption fairy tale. You're not meant to reform into that gypsy myth. You're not meant to reform into the matriarchy or the patriarchy or that grief struck by loss amygdala. You're meant to walk a different way, and you steer clear of danger. So perhaps this channel or our offerings help you in that way, and helping you play those cards you're dealt, those two-faced cards you're dealt with each loss, grief, guilt and shame, mastery and control, rejection, intimacy, that's all the emotional through physical rape issues we're seeing, and identity, right? Who are we? What are we here for? And it's different for all of us, and we keep on shifting, and that's so much fun. And so if that sounds like something that you appreciate assistance with every now and then, come on back, check in with us for a spell. And thank you so much for joining us and helping shuffle states of emergency into adoption spirit magic, for steering clear of danger, and for playing your cards heartily. We are grateful. Until next time, ciao for now. We love you all.